Hello, I'm Priscilla Archangel, and my leadership insight for you today is leading a remote or a hybrid team. So, it's no secret that many companies are struggling to find the right balance today between remote and hybrid work policies for their knowledge workers. And after 2 years of forced remote work due to the pandemic, and that's been accompanied by announcements and retractions of return to office dates, it's remote hires who have never ever stepped foot on site, and remote countrywide hires who will never be expected to work on site. But many people at this point hope that there's light at the end of the tunnel. But some of them aren't quite sure if it's sunlight or a train headlight. So, for organizations that have decided for a variety of reasons to maintain a remote workforce, it's sunlight. The bigger issue, obviously, is when there's a misalignment between the organization and its workers on where work should be performed. Now, these companies are communicating expectations for workers to return to the office anywhere from 2 to 5 days a week, and workers do not like it. Apple's transition plan requires corporate employees to work on site at least 3 days each week. But some workers have formed a group called Apple Together to advocate for greater freedom to decide the best face to face schedule with their respective manager. We know that there's no one right answer to this epic work question, other than leaders need to quickly figure out how to adjust. And all the reasons that have been used to argue against remote work more than 2 years ago are no longer valid. What is important is the need to adjust organizational culture to a remote or a hybrid environment. And there are several steps companies and their leaders can take now to provide the needed clarity to their employees. First, discuss your values at an organization wide level and at a team level. Now, your values are publicly discussed strategies and goals about what you believe in and tell others about the organization. And assuming those values are still appropriate, the underlying assumptions of how those values are accomplished and how people get work done may need to be adjusted. Second, reflect on what concerns you most about hybrid or remote work. So, what do you observe about the team when you're together, and what are other ways of gaining the same information? Do your face to face interactions serve your ego more than they serve the team? Changing leadership patterns and learning new skills aren't always easy, but it may be necessary, and your ability to do so is indicative of your growth as a leader. Third, engage your teams in identifying different ways of living out your values in a hybrid or remote world. Have a frank discussion on what does or doesn't work well about remote or hybrid work. Talk about the in office norms that you missed or that have been difficult to replicate remotely. Discuss as many examples as you can to enable clarity to get to the root of everyone's concerns. And agree on the activities that the team will engage in face to face. Fourth, talk about how to build relationships in a remote and hybrid world. We know that relationships are the basis for trust and they're the currency for getting things done. Since those casual interactions won't be as frequent, purposely design opportunities for people to interact and communicate on a variety of work and non work topics. Make it clear that these are productive moments and a critical part of each person's role. And finally, invest in learning different tools or technologies to support the future of work. Now, this may require learning new skills, new approaches to work, and thinking differently about what it means to be productive. But know that leading a remote or hybrid team is the new normal. It's time to learn to do it well. Thank you for listening.